Good evening and welcome to Off the Line Racing. Just realised my mic was muted, but nevertheless, we are back and it is the penultimate round, round 11. We get ourselves over to Melbourne Circuit over in Australia with its 5.278 kilometre long circuit and 14 turns to navigate, that being 9 to the right and only 5 to the left. So, left side tyre degradation, certainly something you may want to watch out for. 4 DRS zones and only 2 detection points. That means it's a double dose of DRS for those two straights, should we say. One of them slightly curved, that being in Sector 2 to Sector 3, and then again coming into Sector 3 DRS. So places to potentially overtake. You know how this game can be with that dirty air. It's making it very, very difficult to find a move, to maybe even slip a move in anywhere. You've got to look for those open doors and unorthodox situations. My name is Corey Brooks, one of your two commentators for this evening. Join with me, it's Lanky. How are we doing, my friend?
Good evening. Not too bad. Yourself?
I'm good.
Getting
I'm
chilly
good.
now. Outside. There's one thing I want to say. There's a nippy one tonight. But uh, looks like here in qualifying though, the weather is the same as what D2 had yesterday.
Well, it is looking a little bit damp and a little bit wet for work for some drivers. So we are going to get ourselves trackside. Qualifying is about to begin. We had a slight little delay while we were getting the attendance in. And as you can see, there is only 10 drivers joining us. So we did have a slight issue. Obviously, we've seen the dwindling numbers throughout the season. But here we are. We have 10 looking to show up. And of course, as you can see, Marius Anderson and Ratti, your Constructors champions, also championship rivals for the Drivers' Championship, lining up as well. That joined with Boss Moss, the Mercedes, looking to try and stop Marius Anderson from making it 2 in a row. He won in Season 3. Can he win in Season 4? But here on the penultimate round, it's looking wet. It's looking a little bit greasy. You can see the shine going down that pit lane. And these drivers are going to try and go out for a couple of laps. Rather than just one hot lap, it's going to be more along the lines of a couple of laps while the drivers sort of get those tyres up to temperature, wear in the line a little bit, get a bit of a dry line forming and move some of that water out of the way, which will help better grip up the car, and especially on a track like Australia. Very fast flowing times coming in that could be as low as 1 minute 16 in this qualifying.
Yeah, that's looking a little bit more reflective than yesterday, if I remember. But they're out on the inters. The guys yesterday started on the wets, so yeah. They all ended up on the inters in the end, and as you can imagine, the lap times come tumbling down. But yeah, this one is looking a little bit damper to start with.
Well, we are on board with Syrian Alpaca, and the Williams driver is going to be the first one to take us away in these unknown conditions. As the rain still pours down, the line isn't forming anywhere just yet, although we have all 10 drivers to the track. And Alpaca gets going into turn 1 very, very slowly, trying to get the rotation around to the right. Slight connection issues though for Syrian Alpaca. You see a little bit of jumping forwards and backwards, desyncing, as we have Ashton the Brit, the Haas car, just behind, reserving up from Division 2, as is Syrian Alpaca, the Williams driver. Take a quick little look at the Haas, who's tailing behind and seems to be closing that gap up. So to me, looks like Ashton the Brit is going a little bit faster than Syrian Alpaca ahead. Ooh, struggling with track limits there is the Haas driver coming out of turn number 7. You just see all over that outside apex, but collected it well, coming around turn number 8 now. And now what would be DRS aided to the famous flat out 9 and 10 in dry conditions is now going to be on the brakes, slow the car down, try and get the rotation, but minimise rotation to maintain momentum. As you can see, when Alpaca ahead has had a moment in the back end of that lap, Ashton the Brit diving to the inside and moving on ahead, and will take us away. Be the first time on the board, will the D2 reservist, but just behind, I think we have Eric Paul or Maljum Jonas, one of the Division 2 drivers that have closed up very, very quickly to the back of that Haas. But the Haas is on a flying lap, and he's running wide. He's locked up the brakes, coming out of turn 13. And now we look to, I think, is Eric Paul. It's not. It will be Malcolm Jonas, reserve driver for Division 1, to cross the line and take the first time to the table, a 28.2. So qualifying times you could have seen as low as 1:16, but in the wet conditions, 12 seconds off the pace, Lanky.
Yeah, key to get decent banker to begin with these conditions, but I would expect, obviously, as they trundle around the track and make a drier line, to them to iron those times out a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. As the line starts to form up, the more laps they do, they run a higher fuel load. The intermediate tyres don't wear out like a set of dries do. So even now, they've done one lap, they've got a time on the board, but I'd be surprised if those intermediates are even going above 3% in this opening start. So they can keep going, keep pushing harder, keep finding more grip. The tyres start to warm up lap after lap, corner after corner, so they'll start to find more time, start to find more grip. We see the Alpine, the Williams, sorry, and the McLarens even will be the next to bring us to the line with a time. Ratty is coming through now. Everybody else has set a time on the table, but we'll see how far the championship rival can go. That contending with Marius Anderson, he's coming towards sector 3 now, and he's on an outlap. So no time to come from Marius Anderson when he comes out of sector 3, but for Ratty, looking mighty quick in sector 1, gets going in sector 2. A bit of a line starting to form for the McLaren driver, so here he's feeling a little bit more comfortable as we get going down the non-DRS aided straight, although it's a little bit depressing for those drivers. They'd like to get that extra speed, and especially for 9 and 10, they like to keep the foot in on the pedal. They like to keep the power down and get the car rotated round. Try and minimise the drag and slow it so it doesn't slow down too much, because you can lose tenths in 9 and 10 even if you get that snag of understeer. In qualifying, you want to keep your foot in, you want to try and do it flat and maintain all that speed. Ratty's coming around turn number 12 now, looking comfortable even in the difficult conditions. So the McLaren drivers definitely looking at the top spot here on this banker lap. Could even be a few seconds clear of Malcolm Jonas. So I don't know, he's had a bit of a slide there out of the final turn. It's going to be a 28 and it's not enough for Paul. He's had a massive moment, so maybe he has run a little bit more extra fuel just to try and get to grips with the car. So not running as fast as Malcolm Jonas. Currently the Aston Martin is the fastest so far. Maybe he's running no fuel at all. Ran as little fuel as possible and did a hot lap. We are on board of Marius Anderson now as he comes around turn number 8 and gets up to that non-DRS aided straight once again in sector 2. One of the more favoured places for drivers to try and make an overtake. I've got to say, Lanky, the rain looks to be easing up a bit. Could we see it start to dry up a bit?
Yeah, I was just thinking that, like, the raindrops aren't as visible as they were a minute ago.
Starting to get a little bit clear now. This is what we
Yeah,
want to see.
and the track dries up relatively quick as well, so that will be a key factor.
There goes Marius Anderson. Boss Moss goes past this championship rival to the top, 27.9. Here goes Marius Anderson, slipping and sliding out of 13 and 14. Crosses line, goes faster still by 4/10 of a second. The season 3 champion looking to take another one and make it 2 in a row. But can Marius Anderson hold it out and stick it out towards the end? He needs to win this, and he will be well and truly clear, and the championship will be wrapped up. He's currently leading by 2 points. So even if Ratty was to get P2, there's no chance to catch because Marius Anderson is a full race victory ahead, and he can DNF. Oh, will he? I don't know. Will it go to the final round? Let me think. If Marius Anderson got P2 next round, he'd still win. If he... Oh, actually, no. This is going to go to the final round no matter what. Unless Ratty crashes out and doesn't score points. And Boss Moss doesn't score points. Which is highly unlikely with everybody being in the top 10. I don't know. This is probably going to go the distance to the final round. We're going to have a final round championship fight, which I think Marius Anderson's going to take anyway. With points deficit, he's going to gain what 7 extra points if he wins. So that'll be a 9-point lead. Yeah, He's fairly comfortable, but Mariam Jonas is also feeling fairly comfortable out there. Goes quicker than Marius Anderson by a tenth of a second. Here comes Marius Anderson to respond with another lap. Is it an improvement? No, it's not. It's in the 28, so that was a slower lap. Recharging the battery, and I wonder if he's got the fuel to go again. This is where I say drivers like to fuel up a little bit in a wet qualifying. They go for multiple laps rather than the one lap hot lap, just to try and keep things going smoothly, keep the temperature in the tyres, because the tyres can handle multiple hot laps, multiple push laps, if you just maintain your battery management a bit. Look at that though in turn 3, there seems to be a bit of a dry line definitely forming in turn 3. Marius Anderson's a little bit squabbly, and he's all over
Yeah,
the
I think
track
he
there.
just kept it on the track though. That was close.
On board with the McLaren's teammate, which being Ratty. He's coming around turn 3 as well. Let's see how he fares with it. Is he going to be unsettled? Is he going to be squabbling? No, keeps himself nice and bonny to the track and gets going. Now towards the end of sector. Oh, I've got sound coming out of my phone. Apologies, I was checking the stream. Out of turn 7 we go. Seems to be a personal best sector 1. Is it the fastest sector 1 for the McLaren rival teammate? Ratty in P2 in the championship, looking to try and close up. Only 2 points separating him from Marius Anderson. Marius looking for 2 in a row. Ratty looking for a championship indeed. And currently, he's 6/10 up on the Delta Lanky.
Yeah, I think the track now, looking at that line, it's definitely getting darker. So
26, 666. Beautiful lap.
I like it when the 3 numbers at the end are the same. Don't matter what numbers they are, just when all 3 are the same.
Oh, Cooper Fan
Satisfying.
on a lap. Cooper better be on a lap because he's causing a little bit of traffic for Ratty, who's looking to try and contend for a fastest time. Crosses the line. Is it fast? No, it's not. He just falls short by just under a tenth, although it is an 8/10 improvement. Boss Moss holds the fastest time so far. Marius Anderson gets going into turn 3. This has got to be a push lap. This has got to be a faster lap. What about Mariam Jonas? Where is he coming out? He's 4/10 up currently, coming down and finishing sector 3. 5/10 up, half a second improvement as we get going into sector 3 at a 9 and 10, looking fairly comfortable. They're finding a lot more grip out here now, so weather seems to have lightened off a little bit. The tyres are nice and toasty. The line is starting to form. They're starting to get into a good position here. Mariam Jonas looking to set an ever improved time. Looking very comfortable in Australia, I've got to say.
Yeah, I'm on board with Ratty then. It is very, very light now, the rain.
There goes Mariam Jonas, back to the floor towards the line. It's 26.3. It's the fastest so far. Beautiful stuff for the reserve in Aston Martin, but was once a Red Bull driver. Cooper Fan, 7/10 up. He's coming around the final couple corners now. Just ahead of him is a McLaren. Is that Ratty? It's not. It's Marius Anderson. Not fast enough. But what about Cooper Fan? The Ferrari driver comes out of 14. Flat to the floor. Burn what little of the battery you've got left. Crosses the line. It's good enough for P2. 26.3. Red Bull towards the line. Alex 120 on 120 FPS. So 27.1. Much needed improvement time now. We'll see Ratty into the pits with an invalidation, and then we have Eric Paul 13 with an invalidation. Now we're getting to the point where we should see pit stops. Drivers coming in, slapping on some fresh intermediates, dropping all of that fuel and going out for what could be 2 out laps to get the temperature in the tyres, and then 1 huge push lap to try and get that pole position for the likes of Mariam Jonas, Cooper, Marius Anderson, Boss Moss, Ratty, all within a chance of getting pole position. Sailing Alpaca now comes down towards the line to set his improved time. What will it be? It's a 27.7. An improvement that was needed indeed. A second up on the Delta. What about Ashton the Brit? Invalidation, so that's got to be going to the pits for the Haas driver. Sat down in 9th position currently.
Everyone, I can't see anybody who looks to be on a lap, so I think they all are all on. They're in laps now. Who is still on track?
Eight laps on 1 tyre, says Ashton the Brit. Lovely stuff. intermediate practice for wet conditions, I suppose. Now's the time to get a quali lap in.
That line's getting really dark now. On the offboard, with Eric, you can see it on the final corner.
Well, I'm on board with Boss Moss now. This is
So
good intel
yeah,
for the Mercedes
I think it's
driver.
gonna be like yesterday. It's gonna be a matter of sort of like track position who gets that final rundown.
Being out on the track at the right time, at the right moment, making sure you hit that
Yep.
checker flag with only a second to spare. Yeah.
I think it's gonna be one of those, and then obviously a clean lap to follow it.
See, I quite like
It's
this in
definitely gonna come
qualifying.
down to it. Yeah, I do.
It's like a race to the checkered flag for the last second possible. It's a race for track conditions, in a way. You need to be on the
Nice for
track
a
at the
mixed
right
condition
time.
race, like actually in the race. I was hoping for it yesterday, but it stayed dry.
Ooh, that didn't look good. Ashton the Brit was on the line as Boss Moss were coming through. Now, of course, the Ghost allows Boss Moss to drive through Ashton the Brit, but is that classed as impeding? Something we will later see if it goes to the stewards. If it goes to us, should I say?
Yeah. Two of them in the boothlet, so no hiding today. We're both watching.
No,
I
it's
watch
quite
on the stream
surprising me
anyway when I'm not
sometimes.
commentating.
I see some incidents sometimes that are truly diabolical, and do I see a ticket for it? No. Sometimes they do this to themselves, but for Boss Moss, he's 3/10 up and looking to try and strike at William Jonas's current pole time. It's looking like a good run indeed for the Mercedes driver. Looking very, very quick, all qualifying long, but has he got the time to recharge and go again? The clock is ticking. Is this the right time to set a pole time? Is the condition going to get worse on track? Because the rain looks ever lighter still. It looks like it's almost stopped at this point. And now for Boss Moss out of the final turn, certainly an improved lap time, slipping and sliding. Out of 14 we go, but the Mercedes kept it nice and straight. Comes to the line of 25.8, half a second clear of William Jonas, but William Jonas is to the track. He's on his out lap. He's looking to respond. Eric Paul, the only one in the pits who's yet to come out and set some form of improved time. And as you can see, Boss Moss straight onto the wet line to try and cool the tyres a little bit. On board with Ratty will be the next driver to take us away with the final run, I believe. Does not have the time to go again. If they get back to that checker flag, this will be done. Oh no, they will do actually. This is a double out lap for Ratty. So again, a race for track conditions. Ratty it wouldn't surprise me to see Ratty slow down a little bit here in this final sector, just to allow that clock to tick down a little bit more. But he wants to clean up, and we do have a very slow, almost stopped Red Bull. Alex 21 on 120 FPS. That's a very particular name. And McLaren goes through. Alex is still running ever slower. Weaving, trying to generate tyre temperature. This is almost dangerous like, but Ratty now almost set up. Comes out of 13, starts to build momentum to get going out of the final corner, flat to the floor, and here we go. Here comes the McLaren now to hit that start-finish line and get the clock ticking with 20 seconds left to go in qualifying. Ratty has started his final run out of turn 2. We go almost sliding over the curves, but keeps it within those white lines. Out towards turn 3 we go. No DRS to help you, although you would like it. We're not going to let you go faster in dangerous conditions. Around turn 3 can be very, very dangerous. That apex is going to be wet and slippy. And around turn 4 we go. This is where you need to be cautious on the throttle as you get back around turn number 5 to finish off sector 1. That sector 1 can be dangerous. It's all about throttle management through 3, 4 and 5, especially in wet conditions. Now you are absolutely flat to the floor. You've got rid of 6, 7 and around 8 we go. No DRS once again for the likes of the McLaren as we get going to the end of sector 2. Now the famous turn 9 and 10. Can you keep your footing? Can you keep it flat? The McLaren drivers certainly had to back out and hit the brakes at some point. Oh, and there goes Alex, 21 in the background, sliding off the track in turn 10. Just rotated a little bit too much, hit the wet spot, and the rear end comes round. Alex is qualifying, done and dusted, no improvement to come his way, but we're still on board with Ratty to hit the checkered flag. Eric Paul has finished, did not make the flag in time with a 29.6. Will finish in P10, but for Ratty, this will certainly be the fastest time. We have a retirement on track for Alex 21. Not good indeed. Ratty comes towards the line, 25.2. Fastest time thus far. Ashton the Brit hits the checkered flag. Where's it going to be? Up to P6. There goes PW Jones to P2. What about Boss Moss? What about Marius Anderson? Can they do anything? Marius Anderson, he's up to pole. All eyes are on Boss Moss now. The other contender for the championship. It's only good enough for P3. Oh, the Mercedes has just fallen short, but for Marius Anderson, a good setup for what could be another victory to take under the belt in this McLaren one-sided dominant championship. William Jonas did very, very well, but looked very comfortable all the way through qualifying into lie up on that front row with Marius Anderson, Boss Moss and Ratty on the second row, Cooper Fan and PW Jones just behind them, Ashton the Brit and Alex 21, then Siren Alpaca and Eric Paul. Finishing off your 10 drivers that have joined us here tonight in Melbourne, Australia. Now, we are going to get to our mandatory lobby restart, which we will pull up the championship standings. And at this point, you can see exactly what we're talking about and how close it is between Marius Anderson, Ratty, Boss Moss, and even would have been Glitched Hen if he had joined us here tonight. Did technically in mathematics have chance in contention, but no, has absolutely no chance. We'll be missing out on much needed vital points here tonight. I'm going to stick with tradition. You're going to see everybody crash out and retire on track. I've been doing it a few times over the season. The mandatory lobby restart, this is where everybody either goes straight on into turn one or they just retire. So we're going to wait and see what happens here and have a bit of a laugh. Why not? It's the penultimate round. We can enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, decent run down to the turn one as well, so they can pick up some speed. Cars flying, we've seen it all.
Yeah, we are, to be fair. And here we go. Oh, jump starts. There we go. There goes the Red Bull of Alex. There goes the Alpine of PW Jones. Let's have a look. Let's have a look who's going straight on. Oh, PW Jones has tried to do it. Oh, he's just clipped off and took off his front wing. His front wheel as well goes with it. The Red Bull also went... Oh, there's a flying Williams.
Oh, somebody's airborne. Yeah, we got a flyer.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Alpaca. Yes. Yes. We love it. We had a flyer. We love it. Is anybody else going to take to the skies? Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. Oh, there we have it. There we have it. Lovely stuff. Yeah, we saw that Alpaca. That was lovely. Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. And for the Williams, absolutely flying. Just like Sainz was in Baku over the weekend. So, now we come back to the commentators booth and we'll have a quick little chat over the driver's standings. And you get to see my beautiful mush. So, onto the driver's standings. Marius Anderson, as you can see, leads the way with 127 points from Ratty. His teammate lines up just behind. A very dominant display from the McLaren boys, lining up pretty much first and second all season long without their fair share of drama and incidents along the way. We have seen the McLarens come together. Now, it happened, I think, 3 races in a row, at least once in 3 races in a row. It was absolute drama, absolute scenes, but Ratty and Marius Anderson have crashed. So this has certainly been a season for the McLaren boys. They've come together 3 times over the season. They took a Constructors' Championship, and now it is complete and utter papaya rules. They're fighting for it. They're against each other with 2 rounds to go. The championship is up for the grabs for either of these 2 McLaren drivers. But Boss Moss, the Mercedes, credit where credit is due, is keeping his foot well and truly in the door, and he's doing anything and everything possible to halt these McLaren boys. Now, he has been going all season long fighting against Ratti, fighting against Marius Anderson, and a well-deserved P3 thus far, but can he at least get in between them and stop them from locking out the entire championship this season? They took the constructors. You've got to get up there for P2 and stop them getting a 1-2. They'll be happy with a 1-3, but at least it's not a complete dominant season. That's what I'll be going through Boss Moss's head is. I need to get there. I can take the championship. You've got to have that champion mentality. But there, Glitch 10. Again, like I said, he's proper missed out here. He's in contention, mathematically. He's only 15 points off the championship lead. And a good result here today with Marius Anderson, say, finishing 3 or 4th. And even the likes of Ratty only finishing 3 or 4th. It's still a loss in points. And when it comes down to these fine margins, that's what matters. That is crucial in the championship. It literally comes down to each individual track position for points. That's where we're getting to at this point. You can see how close it is with Marius to 10. It's only within 15 points of being taken. It's PW Jones who's going to fall a little bit short there for Alpine. He's only on 87 points with Lawrence Patton not joining, Max Housley and Aidan Evans, reserve drivers. Jay Ghost again not joining us. We have the Haas driver filling in of Ashton the Brett, reserved from Division 2. So showing commitment, and of course we appreciate all our committed drivers. And then Cooper Fan, who joined us here today, is lined up in 10th, so he needs to get some points as well, because if you look at the constructors, Ferrari are in fight with Mercedes, so Cooper needs to finish ahead of Boss Moss, and Boss Moss needs to finish ahead of the McLarens. So we have some form of fighting going on here in this 10 driver race. There is some form of action coming your way. So it's not to say that there isn't some drama to certainly be seen in this track with the only 10 drivers joining us. 29 laps they've got to get through, so think of this as more an endurance race for points for all drivers. They need to finish the race, as Michael Schumacher says. First, you must finish. On that note, Lanky, I think we're ready to go.
Yeah, seeing green 6 popping up now, so obviously they'll have a couple of minutes to sort their strategies and setups out on the grid, but yeah, ready to get underway.
There's going to be a lot of this. And a lot of this. While everybody goes through that DRS train, that's certainly going to be a lot of that. That's a fact. But we are getting to the track. We're getting ready to rock and roll. We're getting ready to rumble. With only 10 drivers to go. Disappointing, really. But the reshuffle in Season 5 is going to be massive. It's going to be huge. We're going to see a lot of drivers come back to Division 1, if not some new faces to Division 1, and potentially their chance at taking the cake in the top tier. But we shall see. Season 5 is highly anticipated. And I would have shown the calendar, but we've got this restart pretty much done and dusted pretty quickly with only 10 drivers to get back into the correct order. So I'm going to take us to the track as the drivers get themselves ready and apply their setups and fuel load and decide what tyre they're going to pit on. And what I can tell you with absolute certainty is that it is a dry track. How are you feeling for this one, Lanky?
Yesterday's was pretty exciting, so going by there and seeing, like, knowing a couple of the guys in here, and obviously, like you were saying earlier, with the D2 reserves racing again, so I think we're going to have a couple of close battles to follow.
Well, we'll wait and find out to see what is to come our way. We've got 29 laps to get through, and the lights are starting to get lit. The drivers are getting ready, and let's get ready to rumble! And the lights are, and away we go. It's a good getaway from Marius Anderson as Malcolm Jonas. He's trying to defend off. What is Ratty trying to charge up as Boss Moss? He's trying to charge up on Ratty now. And no position again, though, a position lost to the McLaren driver. It's a beautiful start to help further along his chances in the championship against his teammate. So Boss Moss losing out on the race start and everybody else just falling back in line. We have a 1 second gap to Ashton the Brit. He's had a bit of a moment into turn 1 and has almost dropped 2 seconds here on the race start. Not too good for the Haas reserve driver, but up at the front, biggest winner is Ratty, biggest loser is Boss Moss, especially in a championship fight like this.
Yeah, I only caught back end of Ashton. I saw him on the grass, so I think he had a moment at turn 2. But how he ended up there, I didn't see that bit.
Oh, here goes the send for
Everyone
Eric
else
Paul to the inside of PW Jones. The side-by-side as we get going to turn 13. Let's not hook wheels, gentlemen. Plenty of space left for the Alpine driver as he tries to defend up into turn 13. Sorry, no slight contact as off goes Alex 21 and through goes Eric Paul 13. Just ahead of PW Jones. Alex 21 struggling to keep it together and keep it on the track, and he's now forced into a defence as Siren Alpaca's looking to try and attack, and there goes the call for DRS enabled.
Yes, a lap 1 down and race on now between a couple of these guys already.
Oh, that's damage for Siren Alpaca. Front right end plate is missing, which means he's going to be suffering in those left-handers. Only 5 of them, so I mean he's not too worried, but he's going to need it, especially for the slower speed corners. Now, the first left-hander, being turn 9, is going to be absolutely damaging for his racing line as he tries to correct for turn 10. So we'll keep an eye on Alpaca now as he comes up towards the famous set of corners into the chicane. He's had to slow that car right down just to maintain that momentum. Just not getting the rotation, I don't think. But he's catching up a bit. I stand corrected. The DRS has helped him a little bit there on Alex 21 ahead. But Alpaca now, even with wing damage, is certainly bringing a challenge to the Red Bull.
Yeah, and it's allowed Ashton now to get himself back into the DRS of them.
Marius Anderson with the fastest lap. As we get going on to lap 3, very fast laps to come your way now that we're not under a little bit of wet conditions. 3 seconds for Alex 21, suffering a little bit out here. No damage visible on that front wing. He's just maybe set up difficulties for the Red Bull driver. That's a warning a lap. That's 1 warning per lap. Back to the front, looking on at Ratty as he's trying to close up to Malcolm Jonas, whereas Marius Anderson's now just trying to settle into a rhythm and extend the stint as everybody we expect to do so. PW Jones using DRS slips on through on Eric Paul as Siren Alpaca also does the same on Alex 21. So with the DRS you can make an overtake on cars that don't have DRS, but look for the challenge back on Alex 21. He's not letting that go easy, looking to the outside, just can't seem to find an open door to slip his Red Bull in. And the Williams will maintain that position.
They're still very tight, though. There's 7 of them in this train. Like the tires do these mediums. They aren't amazing. They do. The rears, especially with as temps pick up, they fall away pretty quickly.
Well, we are looking on at the McLarens as I don't know. Nobody's really looking to size up any moves. They're all just running in their own little rhythm now, apart from the DRS swaps from Syrian Alpaca and Alex 21. But that just seems to be a consistent exchange of DRS now. Nobody's really doing anything at this point. This is tyre management mode as we get to lap 5. The tyres start to drop off, but I've noticed around 7 to 9. But I've seen tyres be extended for as long as 14 laps now. Whether that's doable here in Australia, we'll wait and find out. But we certainly will keep our eyes on the screen to see what is to come at anybody's worth.
Yeah, I'd imagine most of the guys are going to obviously be opting one stop. Be interesting to see if anybody does look at the two. I don't know what the difference is between the two of them, but like I say, I know the tyres fall off really quickly. It just depends on how much more of an advantage you have and whether you could gain that extra stop time back in it, really. But then, yeah, no, I think one stop
Yeah, I am suspecting
is,
one stop. It seems to be the way to go. A lot of drivers just
yeah,
like to manage tyres.
it's not comfortable. It's
Oh,
doable, but it's not comfortable.
well,
It's definitely not a comfortable one.
I think the front three are starting to struggle a little bit on their tyres. We may see a move here. Boss Moss is looking to size one up on Ratty. Can he get close enough? I just don't think he can. Ratty with the DRS is able to just defend off any attacks coming his way. The dirtier he's just too much. He's just not gaining enough. Even when we look at Malcolm Jonas, he seems right there, ready to make a move, but just can't seem to get in the position to do so. Marius Anderson running the comfortable pace here. Well then. When do you think they're going to pit? I think we may see undercut. Somebody try and undercut you. What do you think?
I'd say 12.
You think? I'm going to go on a curveball and say...
Yeah, 12 to 14.
I'm going to say lap 10. I'm going to say we're going to see somebody in at lap 10. Curveball, wild card. The undercut will be massive. Now, can you maintain it throughout the Grand Prix?
I saw somebody gain 6 seconds undercut yesterday. So it is huge. That was in 3 laps.
Wow.
6 seconds, so it was like 2 seconds a lap.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. They're all going to have to try and keep their eyes open now. When is the right time to call it though? Because for the likes of Ratty, he's got a championship on his hands, and so is Bossmoss. Them two are going to be the ones to look for the better strategy, because they're going to try and get track position, want to be in control of the race and run the pace and maintain the pace like Marius Anderson's doing. More of an endurance this, the drivers are just trying to stick it out and make it through. We're only into the first stint, only 8 laps. we're only on the 8th lap, should I say. 7 laps have been completed. Take a quick little look at what tyres people have started on. So we have mediums from P1 to P5, hards for Jones here, Eric, Paul, Alex, and mediums once again for Ashton the Brit, and then a new set of hards for Syrian Alpaca, who's had to succumb to that damaged wing and go for the first pit stop. All in all, I quite like Australia. I was doing some time trial laps here before the stream, before we got ourselves ready to rock and roll. And I also went back to Japan. I went to Suzuka and did some time trial times. Found a few tenths. I think I found about 3-4 tenths in my lap in Japan since they've done a couple of updates with the game. I've very rarely drive on the game. I just fancied a little bit of insider knowledge, so I get a feel for how to drive Australia and the way they should attack these apexes. Now I know the curves are fairly forgiving here in Australia, but in Japan they're very unforgiving, especially in Sector 1, even still with the rescan track. It's very, very unforgiving. But again, we just got a bit of a DRS trend. P1 to P7, everybody just following on and just following suit, running the tyre management phase. Now, PW Jones, I expect to start to gain some time now. He's at the point where the hard should be the better tyre favoured over the mediums, so as he starts to close up to the back of Cooper fan, you should expect some form of improvement to come his way, some form of potential open door to come his way as Cooper starts to make a couple mistakes on the worst rubber as he starts to close up quicker and quicker, corner after corner. You see how to turn 7 there. Jones is getting very, very close, could be sizing up a move. He's looking for the outside here. He goes side by side with Cooper fan. He's burning the battery, slips on ahead. Using the DRS, just has the better grip on those tyres. And as we get out of turn 10, that's a position gain for PW Jones.
Yeah, so here's the crossover point on grip between the two tyres. You can clearly see how much more PW is getting.
You can see the grip difference. Cooper now starting to really slip away, and he's potentially going to be attacked by Eric Paul from behind. He's really losing grip now. 10 laps done on those medium tyres. Jonesy starts to close up a little bit to Boss Moss, but Boss Moss is running very, very well on the mediums as well with the rest of the pack. They're quite favour the alternate strategy. I've noticed on some tracks it can really work in your favour, but it's all about choosing the right time to pit.
Yeah, late safety cars and things like that. Like, was a lot that comes into play with it in there. But there's so much more grip on PW Jones's car at the minute. He's going through on Boss Moss now around the outside, and he gets a move done.
Well then, still waiting to see who's gonna, grace us with the pit stop.
Well, there are those stops.
Indeed. Now, Marius Anderson and Ratty going one lap longer. We've seen them do this before. PW Jones now has the opportunity to try and attack the McLarens, but is he going to do so? That is the question. We see Marius Jonas has come out 1.7 seconds ahead of Boss Moss and Cooper Fan 1 second behind those. Eric Paul's gone to the mediums now. That could be two-stop territory. He's certainly risking going 15 laps on those anytime now. Same with Alex. Alex is also stopped for mediums, so that again is a massive risk. Aston the Brit going onto the hard compound tyre.
And PW gets unleashed.
No. I don't know if this is going to play out too well. Because if you look at the gap to Marion Jonas and PW Jones, it's only 12.5 seconds. So inevitably, Jones is going to get drumped on his pit stop. Cooper Fan is retired and is out, and will not be finishing this Grand Prix. And as we look on to the rest of the drivers who have implemented their pit stop strategies, Ratty's gone in, one lap already completed. Marius Anderson now unleashed on fresh hard compounded tyres for the next 15 laps. And they're certainly going to feel very, very nice over the likes of Marius Jonas, who's just a couple of seconds up the road.
Got a couple of cars forming here behind Boss Moss. Ratty, and then Marius is a second and a half behind him. Oh no, yeah, behind Balloon, I mean, from Boss Moss.
So we might have a little bit of a battle ensuing, like you say. Ratty and Boss Moss starting to close up to each other. Eric Paul 3 seconds, unfortunate. Ratty's starting to close up a little bit more, certainly benefiting from those fresh tyres more than Boss Moss is. Boss Moss struggling to find a little bit of pace. Marius Anderson picks up another track limit penalty, it's unfortunate. But we do know that Australia does have. Oh, never mind. Right, he picks up for 3 seconds as well. Runs a little bit wide though, coming out of turn 12. Well, I was expecting a battle. It seems to have opened up a bit more. Boss Moss starting to find some grip again. Maybe just didn't have the tyres up to the temperature he wanted them to be, whereas PW Jones lost a couple of seconds out to Malcolm Jonas, but will benefit with fresh medium compounded tyre when he does choose to pit. He's just got a lot of work to do to try and catch back up to these hard compound runners who will have a nice bit of breathing space and be under no threat for the next at least 10 laps from PW Jones. And there he goes into the pits. Medium rubber will be applied.
Is that a safety? Yeah. I can see him on the map.
Okay.
It's
So,
only saying yellow flag for me. It hadn't come up saying safety flag. It's a safety car.
well, it's safety car, and whatever's happened has been cleared up very, very quickly. I didn't see what happened. I wasn't looking. I do apologise. I was checking the Twitch at the stream to make sure everything's running right. I wasn't paying attention.
No, that's what I mean. The yellow flag come up, but then
Whatever happened
they
has
say it was
happened
cleared
quickly.
quickly. Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Marius has been given a free stop. Well then. Well then. Malcolm Jonas has been given a free stop. Everybody goes back in for medium compounded tyre as expected. And I think for Malcolm Jonas, that's the strategy of a lifetime. He comes out on fresh rubber and has track position. PW Jones, is he going to get track position? Oh, it's going to be a race. He does. Oh, PW Jones has benefited from that. Oh my word. So now they're all on equal compound. Well, he's sort of been screwed over here because he would have benefited with them all being on hards, but at the same time, he's not. Now we'll take a look at what tyres he's on what Boss Moss. I think he's picked the harder compound allocation because he's on the hards again. Doesn't have another set of mediums to use.
Yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it? I guess, and then yeah, I mean they got well, it would be 9 racing laps, wouldn't it? This one and then another lap behind the safety.
Well, here we go. The pack needs to catch back up. The safety car will be on at the end of next lap, I presume, because this will be the first completed lap under safety car. And by regulation, we have to have one full lap completed under safety car, and then we get back to racing, providing that all the cars have caught back up to the back of the pack. 3 title contenders, all with 3-second in penalties, absolutely. So they are fighting for track position. Whatever position they are in, they will take over each other, and they all need to score as many points as possible for championship. But for Marius Anderson, your championship leader, he's in the worst position at the moment. Ratty is in the best position. And here we go. The pack is all caught back up. We get going into sector 2. I reckon as we get out at 9 and 10, we'll get the call for the safety car to come in at the end of this lap. And we'll have 10 laps of racing. With 8 drivers all caught up to the back of a train. So expect some wild manoeuvres into turn 1 with everybody being on fresh tyres. They're certainly going to try and take some risks. And before we get to turn 9, we get the call. Safety car will be in at the end of this lap. I was expecting it to come just after turn 10. But we get it just before turn 9. So we'll keep our eyes on PW Jones now as he will take us away with the safety car restart. You see them ducking and weaving, trying to generate the tyre temperature needed. Now it's all eyes on the Alpine driver who's going to try and get us away and catch out those behind him. You see Malcolm Jonas now getting himself ready, watching the Alpine eyes like a hawk, just to make sure that they do not get caught out and that they can get the best start possible, does not get jumped by the Alpine off the race start. My second monitor just flickered, that's concerning. Oh, I think
Yeah,
my second monitor
it is
might
for
be
you
broken.
because the last time you said something was going wrong, your computer started bellowing smoke out of it.
Yeah, my second monitor just freaked out, but there goes PW Jones with a 7/10 gap. He has caught Malcolm Jonas napping and has left him vulnerable to Ratty, the McLaren behind. No move into turn 1. Is there an open door potentially on the exit towards turn 2? Nothing to come his way just yet. But we'll keep our eyes on what is to come. Boss Moss as well, looking to try and close up to the back of that McLaren, also contending for championship. But PW Jones has got a beautiful run, has got a beautiful start, and his 7/10 clear has got some breathing space, and he's looking to try and leave Malcolm out to dry against the McLaren that have been so dominant all season long. Marius Anderson has his work cut out for him to get past the next 4 drivers to take another victory and further help him along in his championship fight. Can it be 2 championships in a row for the McLaren driver, or will it just be going to the end of the season? I think it will do, even in this 9 laps, unless something drastic happens. I think we'll see this go the distance to Abu Dhabi. But for now, PW Jones, he's starting to get caught a little bit by Malcolm Jonas behind. Right, here we go. DRS will be enabled at the end of this lap. Keep your eyes peeled for sector 2 DRS straight as we get going out of turn 8. Now, Malcolm Jonas will try to close up to the back of PW Jones. If he's looking to try and take lead of the race here and now, he'll be looking to use sector 1 here to close up those 10s, get it down to around 2, maybe even 1.5 if he can. So when we get going around turn number 8, slipstream, tuck into it, gain a bit more extra speed, and then open that rear wing and make the move. Well, it's half a second between PW Jones and Malcolm Jonas, even with the DRS. If PW Jones chooses to burn some battery and defend, I doubt Malcolm could potentially bring the challenge. As you see, he's not deploying the battery, put it into a state of recharge, opens the rear wing to make sure that he doesn't lose out too much speed. But PW Jones follows suit, puts that battery in recharge, and knows that there's no threat from behind on this lap, maybe on next lap, so get that battery nice and charged up, ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, so everybody's stayed tightly packed off that restart after those couple of laps now. Like you say, between the guys with the penalties, as it stands, where their track position is where they'll finish. I don't think anybody's got a higher
Ooh,
penalty than
Jones is
anyone else,
locking
but we're
up big
seeing,
into turn one. There goes
yep,
Malcolm Jonas side by side. PW Jones is trying to defend it against the Aston Martin driver. Can he? Yes,
Darren's
he
having a
can.
sniff.
He's allowed Ratty to close up to the back of that Aston Martin. Is there a move to come for Ratty? No, there is not. Press the wrong button though. We'll keep our eyes on this battle that could come your way. Marius Anderson is also closing up to the back of his teammate. We could see a three-way battle here potentially for what could be P2. Ratty closing up ever closer. He gets right on the rear tail as we get into 9 and 10. Has to back out of it a little bit, lose a little bit of time and a little bit of speed as Malcolm Jonas closes up to the back of PW Jones to the inside. Nope, no open door just yet. Had a little bit of a look and catches a bit of a slide as we get going out of turn 11 and towards turn 12 we go. Ratty all over the rear diffuser of the Aston Martin driver. Getting a bit spicy.
Yeah, starting to get racy now as we're getting into these closing laps.
Oh, Malcolm Jonas moving out of that dirtier, trying to keep that engine nice and cool because you can lose performance when your engine temperature hits a certain degree. I think it's around 130, 135, you start to lose performance, acceleration out of corners, straight line speed, overall top speed. You start to see a dwindling in performance with a hot engine. But PW Jones, he does not have that issue, leading out in the front, no dirtier to hinder his progress, but everybody behind is suffering with that dirtier. He's doing very well to defend against the Aston Martin, as Ratty as well has not made any moves thus far, just like I hoped they would. What we can say is Marius Anderson did get past Bosmos, and Bosmos is now suffering the consequences, trying to catch up to what has been dominant McLarens. Tell you what, I'm still surprised PW Jones is holding this lead. But saying that, he certainly has the pace to do so. I think he's won a race this season in Division 1 and he's looking to win once again in Division 1. But what I can say for those of you that are listening, there will be no interviews today because I don't think the championship's going to be wrapped up. If the championship was wrapped up, then we'll be having our championship interviews. But today we are going to have to knock it on the head and pass on that because I've got some admin business to attend to. So it will be race and done and dusted, and then get yourselves ready for what will be the finale next week in Abu Dhabi. But for now, we've still got around 5 laps to go, 4 1/3 of a lap to go if you want to get technical. And PW Jones still leads us away with a bit of a 5-car DRS train as it's been broken to Searing Alpaca. Ashton the Brit 2.7 behind that, and then Alex 21 having a disaster Grand Prix, 37 seconds behind that. So he's had to pit again, so potential damage for Alex 21 has had to swap that wing to see it to the checkered flag, just to make sure that he doesn't have any issues. But no, things still running as they are. I'm excited. Who do you think's going to win this, Lanky?
I think Jones he's driving pretty well so far and pretty strong. He seems to be like his setup seems to have a straight line speed, or it's either that or Maloon just isn't fully going for it yet. So yeah, I'll say PW. Well, I reckon he'll be able to hold it.
Well, 3 laps to go, and still they're trying to prepare themselves. Well, Ratty's getting a bit racy now. He's been passed by his teammate. I missed that. Apologies. Marius Anderson's leading McLaren thus far. No, it's a good position to be in. It further helps him along in the championship. It's not over yet. And for Boss Moss, he's just seen the back end of 2 orange papaya McLarens, which has been sort of the season for now. It's been a fight for the Mercedes driver, and Marius Anderson seems to have this one under the belt, but PW Jones looking to size up a victory unless William Jonas can do anything about it. Take a victory here tonight in round 11 in Australia as the season starts to come to a close. But other than that, I don't think so.
Yeah, he just seems to be able to have enough in the straight. Even with the wing open on Maloom, he just doesn't gain anything.
Here we go, the penultimate lap. This is where we may see changes, we may see moves being made, and then it's just 1 lap of defence, or they set themselves up for 1 lap of attack. But that puts you under great risk. Do you try and get the position now, and then just defend for a lap, or do you try and get the position on the last lap? That is the question. Marion Jones not close enough for now to make a move on PW Jones. I think Jones is maybe going to hold this one out. He's done very well for this entire final stint since the safety car ended. To keep things going nicely, keep things going smooth and out of trouble. Seeing Alpaca dropping some pace there, 5 seconds now behind this DRS train. But he's going to secure that P6 either way with a 2-second lovely gap to Ashton the Brake. But what this has done is guaranteed that Syrian Alpaca will not get the podium after the safety car closed up all those with on-track penalties. And now here we see Martin Jonas start to close up. Here we could see the Aston Martin start to size up an attack coming down the start-finish straight as we get going on to lap 29. Oh, ever closer. Breaks the DRS. Did he do it before the detection point? I think he has. I think he's put Marius under pressure. Has Marius done enough to stay in it? That was close. That was very, very close to being broken DRS for the McLaren duo, but I think they will have that rear wing open, and he's not. Marius Anderson does not have an open wing. He's lost out there, but he's not lost out too much time. He's still within a striking chance of Mariam Jonas, but Mariam Jonas not able to make a move anytime soon. Is it to come in Sector 2? That's the only other place to do it now. He has took the chance and left it for the last lap. Made no attempt on the penultimate lap to pull off an overtake. So, what's going to happen here on the final run?
I think Jones has got enough.
Yeah, I think he's done it here. 7/10 gap there as we get going down towards the DRS straight. He's absolutely cooking. Jonesy's done it. He's cooked with a strategy. He was graced with a safety car, which has further helped him along. Luck cannot be described as here he comes out of turn 10 with only a few corners to go and a nice half-second gap. Even with DRS, Marion Jonas is not close enough. Marius Anderson further extends the championship lead, but it is not done yet. It is not over with. There is still a mathematical contest between Ratti and Bosmos. Glitch 10 though can kiss his chances goodbye. It's a fight now between 3 drivers and 3 drivers alone. And here comes PW Jones, and he comes powering down towards the line, hits the checkered flag, and wins in round 11. As we see a drag race to the line for Bosmos to move up ahead of Ratti for P4. And there we have it. Syrian Alpaca will come through for 6th position. Ashton the Brit now coming out of turn 14 will get powering down that main straight to take home P7. And Alex in 35 seconds will take home P8. Lovely stuff. Not too shabby.
Yeah, good drive from PW.
Not too shabby. Not for 10 drivers. Wasn't too shabby. Quite surprised to see the safety car. Whatever happened to Eric was disaster, and the marshals had it cleared up in record-breaking time. They must have had that crane ready and waiting. He is in an Aston Martin, so is he comparable to Lance Stroll? Is that what the marshals were thinking? Because they seem to be ready and on hand there, waiting for it to happen. PW Jones completely benefiting from that safety car. And then we'll get to the final standings classification, and that will be us for tonight. But thank you all for joining us, those that did join us, and thank you to our 10 committed drivers that did show up here tonight to compete in Division 1. We have seen dwindling numbers throughout this season, partially due to how the game is, and just it's difficult to race, difficult to overtake. The dirty air is too much. The strategies, you've got a tyre save, it's all about time management. I remember the days when you used to be able to push like crazy, no matter what tyre you was on. And it wasn't really about the strategy. It was about when you was going to pit, but it was more about you could push, you could afford to go hard for an entire stint. It was glory days of league racing. But for now, we've got to suffer with this while we wait to see what is to come for the future of Formula 1 league racing. And for OTLR, big changes in Season 5. So keep your eyes peeled for that. This is not representative whatsoever on OTLR standards. It's just going to be like this till the end of Season 4, and then Season 5 you shall see a big change and a full tier for Division 1 that we can almost hopefully guarantee with. We should see it, we estimate, we predict. The admins run on predictions based on sign-ups, based on returning drivers. We're constantly doing work. This isn't a league that is just run on its own. We don't take attention, we don't take care. We watch, we pay attention, and we implement changes. But again, Lanky, thanks for joining us, and that will do us for tonight.